Welcome everyone. Race 28 of 36 for the Darkside Mustangs A² Cup Series. We're in qualifying here at Kansas Speedway, race 2 in the round of 16, the first round of the playoffs. Looking at Bryn Roberts as he begins qualifying. Him and Joshua Gaiman beginning qualifying here to get us started. Streamlined effort here tonight. 10 minutes to set qualifying laps for the field, and then a 200-mile main event. And Roberts, we're watching right now for the first time. First lap in the books. What does Bryn Roberts have? It's a 30.9. Gaiman will have his lap finish here. 31.1. Roberts was one of the drivers last week that tried playing spoiler. Can he play spoiler here tonight? Second lap for Bryn Roberts. 30.8. We'll pivot to his teammate, Jacob Blankenship, who is in the A² Cup playoffs, denoted by the silver and black numbers as opposed to the red and white. First lap in the books for Blankenship. He moves to the second position ahead of Gaiman. Belleville goes top of the board. And there's thousands between Belleville and Roberts. Blankenship on his second lap. Can he do better? He's got a 30.91. He needs 30.82 to get into the front row. Second lap complete for Blankenship, and it's top of the board. Top three within thousands. It is milliseconds to pull them apart. Jimmy Breo about to get his qualifying effort. Jason Alexander, Tom Sears, Tristan Catania, Jonathan Homebrink, James Kerr, Jimmy Breo, Kevin Feemster, John Smeal, Toby Estes, and Tommy Reynolds all on laps at the moment. Same with Alex Jimkowski and Donald Ray. So a lot of work going on here in these next couple minutes. Kerr and Reynolds jump to the board, but they're 5th and 6th. Catania goes 5th. The second lap so far has been the fastest all across the board. New look for Breo, running a Midwest barbecue paint scheme as he tags the wall. This first lap will not count. The second one will have to be it. Reynolds goes provisional pole. We'll stay with Breo, see what he can salvage. Estes goes 6th, Sears 7th, Ray goes up to 5th. What can Breo salvage from this qualifying session? Keeps it out of the wall this time. Down to the apron, across the line. Where does it put him? P7. Thomas Andrews on his first lap now. Estes goes provisionally P2. So it's Reynolds, Estes, Blankenship, Belleville, Roberts, top 5 at the moment, but a lot can change in the next 5 minutes. Right now, Andrew sits in 14th after that first lap. That first lap was slower than normal, 31.3. Seems like he's done with a little bit of understeer. Goes up to 12th. Riley Wright goes up to 6th. Withers completing his second lap. And it doesn't look like it was valid. It was not a valid lap time. We'll see if Patrick Allen can get himself a session here in the books. See Withers on the back straightaway. His lap times are not valid. So we're gonna wait and see. Seth Wansing, Albert George, and Ryan Pinnell have yet to set a lap time. John Smeal made an attempt. Tommy Withers did as well, as did Kevin Feemster. None of those laps were valid. Again, so we're kind of just waiting and seeing if anyone else is going to qualify here before we begin this race. I believe we're going to have a warm-up session that's about 5 minutes long, and then we'll have the proper race itself after that. About a minute left in qualifying here, and we're in a holding station to see if anyone else will set a qualifying lap time. Again, Patrick Allen, Seth Wansing, Albert George, Tommy Withers, John Smeal, Ryan Pinnell, and Kevin Feemster have yet to set valid lap times. Of the 22 set to contest the race tonight at Kansas. So it looks like Reynolds will be our pole sitter tonight. Toby Estes will be alongside him. Jacob Blankenship will be in row 2 alongside Noah Belleville. And Bryn Roberts will be in row 3 alongside Briley Wright. As Belleville and Roberts will try to play spoiler for the round of 16. Alrighty, so we are moving straight to the grid. 134 laps tonight. here is what the starting grid looks like. Tommy Reynolds and Toby Estes on the front row, and again, 3 milliseconds between the two. It's team Sideswipe, the Bluegrass Bandits on the front row. Jacob Leggett in third, no Belleville in fourth. Belleville looking for his first win of the season still. Multiple second place finishes, but not a win so far in his 2022 season in A Square. Same with Bryn Roberts, still looking for his first win. Him and Blankenship, they finished second and third at Daytona. That's the closest he's been to a win this season. Can he rectify that tonight? He starts fifth alongside Briley Wright. Tom Sears and Donald Ray make up row number 4. So Team Outlaw all over row 4. You have Josh Gateman on his own in row 5. Alongside will be Jeremy Breo, who started and parked at Darlington last week. Then row 6, Jason Alexander and Thomas Andrews making up row number 6. That's the top 12 in the starting grid. Further on down, you got Tristan Catania and Alex Jimkowski in row number 7. Row 8, James Kerr and Jonathan Homebrink. Row 9 is Seth Wansing and John Smeal. Then you have Tommy Withers and Ryan Pinnell, Elrich George, Patrick Allen in row 11. Kevin Feemster rounds out the grid here tonight. For those kind of wondering what's Kansas about, it's an intermediate track, 1.5 miles is a lap around the Kansas Speedway, progressive banking in turns 1 and 2 and turns 3 and 4, meaning that the speeds between the bottom lane and the top lane are going to maintain pretty similar. You'll see drivers use both the bottom lanes and the top lanes during the race tonight as drivers begin rolling from pit lane. Air temp 66 degrees. You cannot ask for much better temperature-wise. It's not going to be a scorcher for the tires. Tire longevity is going to be probably near its best that we've seen all season long. It means it's going to be racier for longer each time we have a green flag run. The second race in the round of 16. About to get underway. 22 cars set to begin. Cody Pinnell won the round of 16 at Darlington, so he locked himself into the round of 12. Who's going to join him? 134 laps to find out. Pace car is in. Through the Geico restart zone. Reynolds leads us off for racing at Kansas. And through turns 1 and 2 they go. Reynolds gets clear of Estes. And Estes gets a little loose. So Reynolds gets clear and the battle gets further behind. There's Bryn Roberts to the inside. It's 3 wide. That's Briley Wright stuck to the middle. And he's in the wall, and this is going to be a caution. Donald Ray. I believe that's Jimkowski. It is Jimkowski. With a fairly significant amount of damage on that number 99. So we're going to take a rewind out of here. Again, Briley Wright in the 18 just drifts up, and it's into the path of Donald Ray. And you see Jimkowski, you got tagged. And it sent right around. And significant damage on the 99. That Ford Mustang going to try to limp it around. I believe he towed. Indeed, he did tow. believe him and Donald Ray both towed. Riley Wright coming down pit lane. So already a bad start for Bradley Wright, Donald Ray, and Alex Shimkowski, two of them being playoff drivers for Wright and Ray. Already putting them on the back foot. Donald Ray coming right off the heels of a pretty decent finish at Darlington. Was hoping for more of the same here at Kansas, and now there's an uphill fight. Luckily, there's stage breaks here, so there's opportunities to get back on the lead lap throughout the race. But for the most part, he's going to have to race for it. Big time. So Reynolds and Estes holds on to the top spots. We'll see what lanes they choose for this first restart. For those not familiar, the choose cone rule is in effect. Coming to the 1 to green point, drivers will choose what lane they want to start in for the restart. If a driver wants to start on the bottom, they'll go down to the apron on the front straightaway. If a driver wants to start up high, they'll go to the outside wall, and they'll sit there, and then they'll converge into turn 1. Exactly what Reynolds and WS just did. That's the decision making to determine where you're going to start on these restarts. It's a game of chance and risk. Estes was on the outside lane on the start where they started and got burnt by Reynolds. Estes almost spun out at a 2, which really gave Reynolds the advantage. For Estes, he's going to try to avoid that again. For Reynolds, is clockwork on the bottom. Josh Gaiman putting his faith behind the 19. And Tom Sears was kind of hoping that Reynolds has the start like he did last time so he can follow through and try to challenge Estes for that second spot on the restart here. Then you look at Breo, who desperately needs a win. A start in Park scored points last week, but right now he's in almost need-to-win territory. Pace car is in to the restart zone. Reynolds goes again. And that was the restart that Sears hoped he had. Reynolds smoked the field in that restart, and Sears will take second easily. Breo will take third. That's how good that restart is for Reynolds. It put Estes out of the top 3, completely out of the podium spaces. And now Estes has to deal with Josh Gaiman, and that's Tristan Catani at the 48, trying to close in using the apron. Also in this group, Jason Alexander in the 53. Ryan Pennell up to 8th. Little bit of jockeying for position early on. Looking at Breo, center of your screen. He's in 3rd. It's a 6-car, 7-car lead pack. Ryan Pennell sitting in 8th, trying to lead the second group to him. He's got Noah Belleville in tow. Pennell, with the results he's having so far, may be a really good contender, not only for the round of 12, but as a dark horse for the round of 8 later on in the playoffs here. Breo going to try to go to the lead. He will do so using the bottom lane. Reynolds preferred the top once he got clean air. But Breo has the bottom line hooked up. He'll sail to the lead. New race leader, Jeremy Breo. He's won 6 races this year. Is Kansas lucky number 7? He's got number 7 behind him. Reynolds moved to the bottom. He wants the race lead back. Sears beginning to drop backwards. The inside lane will begin to fade as tires wear. And the racing line will gradually just shift to the top. The top's just going to be the easier one to run. But right now, you make that inside work while you can. Breo led that lap, but Reynolds definitely challenging for that race lead side by side. Entering 1. We're already on lap 11. Again, Bradley Wright 1 lap down, and it is 2 laps down for Ray and Jimkowski, 5 laps down for Seth Wansing. Reynolds led that lap. New leader, Tommy Reynolds. Breo takes the back, who's not high lane. And then Estes, keep an eye on Belleville, who almost got turned. How he saved that, I have no idea, but the 3 wide entering 3. Gaiman checks out of it. Not sure that he had much of a choice on that situation, but it almost got ugly in a hurry. And almost saw Belleville go right to the inside wall. Instead, Belleville holds on to P4. As Estes and Reynolds battle out for second place while Jeremy Breo tries to run away. Ryan Pennell up 15 spots. He's up to 5th. There's the number 12. Again, representing the University of Georgia. Last week was the college football night. A lot of cars representing college football teams. Both Pennell brothers from Good Hope, Georgia, representing their home team. Ryan continuing that forward for a second weekend as he deals with Jason Alexander and Joshua Gaiman for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th there with Catania. Smeal in 9th, James Kerr in 10th. As it sits, the battle for the round of 12, that cutoff line is going to get really close. Entering this race, the cutoff line was Jeremy Breo, who had 2,029 points. He was above the playoff cut line by only 2 over Tommy Withers, Jonathan Homebrink, James Kerr, and John Smeal. Seth Wansing puts himself in danger. He entered the night just 9 points above the cutoff line, and he's now 4 laps down, excuse me. Pennell beginning to fall backwards, stuck on that outside lane and stuck in the wall there. A little bit of contact between him and Catania. Catania will slot in ahead of Feemster. Feemster in that 10th spot, battling with John Smeal. John Smeal looking to race his way into the round of 12. He is currently 16th and last in the playoff positioning at the moment, but only 10 points off. Strong races tonight and next week at Bristol can change all of that as it's 4 wide. That's Blankenship, Elrich George. Elrich George in the 40. We got Seth Wansing here trying to race his laps back. Estes is in the lead, so we've had 3 leaders so far tonight, and 8 lead changes so far in 18 laps. Wansing again, currently sitting dead last, 23rd at the moment, 4 laps down, trying to race his way in. He's got top 5 pace if he can get lucky, but he also needs Bradley Wright, Donald Ray, and Alex Rimkowski to be even luckier, so he doesn't have to rely on them. Feemster and Catani had a bit of a scuffle. They both dropped outside the top 15. Feemster in 15th at the moment, dealing with Patrick Allen and Brendan Roberts. Tom Sears also dropped down to 19th position. He's had struggles so far early on here in Kansas. The scuffle for the top 10. Right now, sort of circling around these two, Thomas Andrews and Edward George, they're 9th and 10th. As everything sort of settles down and spreads out, Jonathan Homebrink sits behind them in 11th. Also really important, stage points do matter right now. The stage win is 10 points, which is effectively the gap between 12th and 16th in the playoffs at the moment. Breo could use the added padding, but he's still right now sitting 4th. So definitely far from in trouble at the moment. As long as he can stay in that position, he's dropped another spot. That is James Kerr beginning the surge ahead, and that's 75. Joshua Gaiman, again, always a persistent threat. Gaiman had a bit of a run-in with Cody Pennell and Ryan Pennell last week at Darlington, looking to right that ship. Right now sitting in 3rd behind Estes and Reynolds. Stage 1 will end on lap 35. So we've already had 1 caution for an accident going towards lap 2. The next one, as long as it stays green from here, will be on lap 35 for stage 1. So 13 laps to go in stage 1. Keep an eye on the dangerous Seth Wansing. He's got the pace. He's got arguably race leading pace. He's been the fastest car on track. He's matched or bested the leaders every lap the last 7 laps. Wansing is on a tear, and there's no incentive for someone like her to fight him so far, because even if he gets one of these laps back, he's still 3 down and last in line for the free pass when the stage break comes on 35. So there's no incentive, because even if we went caution free minus the stage breaks, he would not get a lap back from here, or he wouldn't get back on the lap from here. Excuse me. Wansing's gotten ahead, but now Blankenship is battling to get ahead as well, battling for that 4th spot. Breo's beginning to drop down the order. He may have burned off his tires a bit too quick, because now he's under threat from Belleville and Alexander. Yeah, Estes and Gaiman on the top of the field. Here's Toby Estes, our race leader, by almost a second over Gaiman. Gaiman was faster last lap, but he's dealing with Tommy Reynolds. The more that those two fight, the easier it is for Estes to sort of just cruise to a stage 1 win. Again, we're watching this battle, second, third, and fourth in your screen. It's Gaiman battling with Reynolds and Blankenship closing in. Can Blankenship get to these two and get around, as these two have closed the gap to Estes? The gap was about a second, now it's 5/10 and change. 6 to go in stage 1. Top 5, very well in your screen. Elrich George having a race of a season for him. This is the highest he's been so far, including the plate races. So that number 40, making some headway and progress in the results right now so far. If he can hold on to this for the rest of the race, he'll be in some mighty fine shape. Gaiman gets run through by Blankenship and Reynolds. Fights back on the outside to hold on to third place, so Reynolds will be the biggest loser out of that transaction. But Blankenship now trying to haul down and chase after Blankenship, or chase after Estes here. He very well could do it. Our regular season champion, the number 85. Far and away captain of consistency this season across the first 26 races. He has reeled in the 19 in a hurry. But catching is one thing, passing is another. Can he pass the race leader? That is the question. It looks like he's going to try to set it up here within the next lap or so. He seems like he can make that bottom lane work a little bit better than Estes can. Estes doesn't want to try it. Blankenship more than willing to try it. He'll pull up the side draft down the back straightaway. And to turn 3, he's got the advantage. And Estes can do nothing about it. Coming out of 4, new race leader, Jacob Blankenship. Strong effort by him so far. 2 to go in stage 1. Coming to the white flag, Blanchard pulled away. It's already half a second between him and Estes. Top 5 looking pretty well sorted. As Blanchard goes down the back straightaway. Really good effort by Jacob Blankenship. Toby Estes in second place. Blankenship will win stage number 1 over Estes, Gaiman, and Reynolds. Elrich George, his best stage finish, a top 5 for him. James Kerr in 6th. Brendan Roberts, Noah Belleville. Jim Breo scores 2 stage points. And Jonathan Homebrink takes the last stage point in 10th place. Bradley Wright will get the lucky dog. Being 1 lap down, we'll have 20 cars on the lead lap for this next restart. So it's Blanchard, Estes, Gaiman, Reynolds, Elrich, George. Then you have Kerr, Roberts, Belleville, Breo, Homebrink, top 10. For many, this could be a chance for first pit stops. Blanchard's going to pull in. Most of the field does, except for George. Okay, George does come in. I was about to be worried for a second, but it looks like most of the field will come in here for pit stops. Bradley Wright will be the lucky dog recipient under this first yellow. We'll see if Wanting stays out or comes in. He's going to probably try to use a wave around here, I think. I would assume. I think that's sort of like the really big gamble for him is he's got to take gambles like this to really make it stick, because he is so many laps down, and it's his only way forward here. We'll see if they're interested in doing so. Looks like they will come in here, so they will not take the wave around. So Bradley Wright comes back in. He's in pit lane, now on the lead lap. Blanchard leads over Estes, Reynolds, Gaiman. That's as they enter pit lane. That's how they exited. Roberts still 5th. The biggest change, I think, Breo up to 8th, Homebrink in 9th. Kerr lost a spot to Roberts. Belleville with the slow stop. Believe he had damage repair on the number 41. Fuse cone in effect here. Interestingly enough, Reynolds chose not to go high despite being second in line there. Could have easily jumped up there in front of Gaiman, but decided not to. Decided the inside lanes where we wanted to be. Now Estes needs to hope that he doesn't get smoked on the bottom here. Blankenship will be the leader of the restart. He will control the restart here when the pace car comes in. Alrighty, pace car is in. Plane ship and Estes on the front row. Through the Geico restart zone. Stage 2 underway. And a really good jump by Blankenship. Ooh, contact by Gaiman. Big contact by Gaiman. Everyone scrambles. He hit the wall pretty hard in that 61. Another car on the wall. With a Freo. It is not Breo. There's Jeremy Breo on the 74. A lot of racing deep in the top 10 here. That's Andrews on the bottom, Alexander on the bottom of 53. A fluorescent yellow and black car, Tom Sears, trying to get himself in the top 10. He sat back in stage 1. Can't afford to do that in both stages. And he'll sit and he'll casually make it 3 wide out of turn 4. And that's the battle for 10th place. Steers a rocket ahead. He's ahead of Tommy Reynolds now. Reynolds on the free fall decline. Reynolds drops to 9th. Sears up to 7th. That's how much that meant. Pulled off to perfection there for the 14, who is now on the heels of one of his teammates, Thomas Andrews, in the number 2. Gaiman in the 61. Blankenship in the 85 and 4th. It's Estes and Elrich George, top 2. Then Jonathan Homebrink in 3rd. Tom Sears right to the heels of Andrews. He'll seek to the bottom. Alexander will follow him through. And Sears are largely going contested here as he gets around Andrews. Andrews uses the outside lane to sort of hold momentum. But not just trying to sidetrack him or anything, just kind of letting him do his thing. He'll sail on by here. He clears himself here and immediately goes after Josh Gaiman, who is also on that outside lane. Again, keeping it nice and tidy for the 14 as he battles with Gaiman. And Gaiman sitting in 5th, Sears in 6th. There's battles all over. Right up here at the top of the field, it's Estes and George, then Homebrink top 3. And they're all a second clear of Jacob Blankenship. Estes holding on to the race lead. Bowers George again maintaining the second spot. Then it's Blankenship down to fourth behind Honebrink. Tom Sears has gotten around Josh Gaiman. He's somehow gotten the outside lane away from him. And Sears is still on the charge here. 20 laps to go, coming to 19 to go in stage 2. A lot of drivers looking forward to tonight compared to last week at Darlington, one of the raciest tracks on the calendar. And you see why. Multiple lanes, you can run through the corners. You can optimize everything that you're running. As Blankenship blinks out there a little bit. Focus on Tom Sears for this little 4-car battle, which could be a lot more. You see the impending armada coming from the 7th on down. That's Brent Robertson, the 58, leading the charge there. Alexander on the move. He's on a charge for the top 5, keeping on the 53 machine as he tries to move forward. Dustin Painter in the Twitch chat saying the Bahama Bullet came to play today. Elrich George 100% came to play. Sitting in second at the moment and doing an impressive job tonight. On track for a career best finish in A squared if things continue. He finished 5th in stage 1. So he has done a phenomenal job tonight in the number 40 machine. He's up 19 spots from where he started. He started in the 21st position. So from almost dead last to second place. Yeah, we're looking at this battle for 5th place, the battle for 3rd right ahead. Homebrink gonna fall behind. And that's Jason Alexander clearing himself here a little bit, squeezing up. Homebrink had a good enough run that Alexander had to respect it. But George gets dispatched to 3rd. You can see similar looking cars here, the 85 and the 40. They're not teammates by any stretch of the imagination. But Blankenship has pulled ahead of Elrich George, who's still doing a phenomenal job with 14 laps to go in stage 2. We're going to focus on Tom Sears here. We're actually going to go and we're going to crank it up for a few laps. So enjoy the sights and sounds aboard Tom Sears' number 14. So a caution has come out to interrupt our crank it up. And here's why. Tristan Catania would be the one that spun out. And you see how it started. Contact between him and Withers. Looks like Withers just drifted up a little bit. I think Withers thought he was clear. He just misjudged it a little bit. And you see the cars that went by there, that's the reason why the yellow came out. They're approaching a very slow car that was still out of control. Luckily, Katani didn't hit the wall or anything, so he's able to keep it rolling in that 48 machine. But we're back under caution for now officially the third time of the night. Ignore the counter on the timing tower. This is our third yellow of the night. While we're under caution here for the second time, we're going to step aside real quick for a refreshment refill here. Trying to stay hydrated here in the booth. So we're going to step aside for just a second. Toby Estes, Jason Alexander, and Elrich George, your top three, as we get ready for a sprint to end stage number 2. Alrighty. Almost time to go back racing for a little 7-lap sprint. It'll be a 7-lap sprint when we go green to end stage number 2. Thank you all for tuning in, spending your Sunday evening with us here on RX Racing Networks. It's Estes Alexander leading this field of green here in Kansas. Green flag back out. Let's go racing. stage points up for grabs. It's Estes, Alexander, George, and Roberts. As there's trouble, and it's Gaiman. Gaiman in trouble. And this is the big one. Ryan Pinnell, that's home brink. Andrews is in it. Patrick Allen is in it. John Smeal. Looks like James Kerr might have got a piece of it. Braille got a piece of it. Tom Sears may have gotten away without being a part of it. He was behind it. Not seeing damage in the 14 machine. He may be good. But big time accident here. And that's what we were afraid of. Yeah, really. That's all I had at home break here. Here's where it starts. You see, there's got Josh Gaiman in the 61. That's Tommy Reynolds in the 7. Noah Belvo in the 41. And I think it's going to be a pretty simple case of a driver went up the hill a little bit too far. Here's a good angle of it. Chopper cam. And I think Gaiman's just going to go up a little too high. Yeah. Reynolds is already trying to give space. And you see the pile-on effect. And Sears did just barely get through it. Now the question is, did Dahmer Ray stay out of it? Oh yeah, he did. He was well out. He was well out of it. Jankowski, he was right behind it. Don't know if he got clear of it or not. No, he did not get clear of it. But Donald Ray did. So, this will probably be the end of stage 3. Or stage 2, excuse me. So we have 21 cars on the lead lap now, 23 all still running. Jankowski 2 laps down, Wanzing still 4 down. Choose cone and effects. Reynolds to the bottom. He'll actually go second row here behind Alexander. All right, it's almost time to go back racing. Pace car pulls into pit lane. Estes Alexander lead the field of green. Stage 3 is underway. And a really good start by Estes. That helps Elrich George out a lot. I believe that is Andrews, a little bit further behind. No, it's Breo. Who else? Up near the top lane, trying to make it work. He does make it work. Up to the top 10 for Breo. Thread the needle, and he's going to thread it here between Catania and Sears and Andrews. Breo on the charge. Breo up to third, which is insanity. Cars in the wall, and there's a crash, and caution's out once again. And that's a hard crash. That was Catania in the wall hard. That's a lot of cars junked on the front straightaway. I believe that was Hohenbrink on his side. It is. Hohenbrink still on his side. Catania's car will not fire. And he took a wild ride. That's James Kerr. But Roberts' car could not refire. And there's Blankenship. Hohenbrink still on his side. And in trouble for the number 20. That was a vicious hit. They were coming to the line to end Stage 2. We had that mixed up. Stage 2 was coming to the line. Estes led that. So that's why the scramble was as large as it was. The disappointing part about that, through all that melee, I believe Jimkowski and Wansing were both involved in that. And they were both laps down. So we're going to go back to it here. We believe it starts about this area here. Elrich George behind, yeah, Reynolds, Kerr, and Roberts. And obviously it kind of goes underneath this camera. So you have to really look down at Catania here. Because he gets clipped by somebody. Oh. And that's a hard impact. Two really hard impacts. That's going to go on board with Hohenbrink here. He's in for a wild ride. Just like his hometown Cincinnati Bengals, his race has gone bottoms up tonight here at Kansas. Here's on board with Catania. Again, he took a wild ride as well. Wreck's happening in front of him. And you hear the engine just let go mid-spin. And nothing they can do there. So we'll go on board with Simkowski, because he may have gotten bailed out here. So we saw one thing was involved. Yeah, he should get a lucky dog here. Easily. Oh, no. Beamster. Oh, no. And you've... Oh, that's something broken in the left front. Oh, no. Never mind. That's not going to be the case. That's heartbreaking again. Szymkowski again robbed of that. And he's still on pit lane. Beamster on pit lane. Roberts on pit lane. Ryan Pinnell on pit lane. Seth Wanzing coming out of pit lane. Entering stage 3. And a lot of drivers' races now look entirely different than they did 10 laps ago. It's Breo, Estes, Andrews, and George top 4 as we begin stage number 3. Welcome to Kansas. Breo, Estes, Andrews, George top 4. Pace car is in. And we're back to racing, stage 3 underway here in Kansas. Yeah, Breo, Andrews, George, Estes, Reynolds, Alexander, Sears, Wright, Gaiman, Withers, top 10. They're really behind the top 3 biggest favorite driver because they're wheel-to-wheel, door-to-door, side-by-side. Breo right now has the lead, but Andrews going to challenge for it. Estes beginning to fall backwards. The 19 in a swarm. Andrews still challenging with Breo. Andrews actually go to the point. If we could split screen, we would. But Andrews has taken the race lead. New race leader, Thomas Andrews. As Toby Estes continues to fall backwards from leading the restart on the inside row to now battling just to stay in the top 10. That's John Smill in the 44. He'll clear Estes. A very erratic move there by the 44, but still clear nonetheless. As Estes falls well out of the top 10 and still falling, still plummeting. He'll drop down. Patrick Allen's the last car on the lead lap. Estes is about to go from 2nd to 16th. In 4 laps. That is insane. Here's the mad gaggle of cars. This is the battle for 10th place. Blankenship's leading this battle. Alexander, Belleville, Ray, Kerr, Allen, and Estes all in it, as well as the lap cars of Wanzing and Catania. Szymkowski, the first car effectively out of this race. (16 of 22) still on track on the lead lap. I'm going to pivot back up to the front because I believe Breo might be attempting a challenge. No, it's Elrich George making a challenge. Elrich George going for 2nd place over Breo and Tommy Reynolds. This man has done an incredible job. He's been front and center every stage tonight in the number 40 machine. Elrich George has come to play. Even if it's only for tonight, we're getting a glimpse of the talent possessed by Elrich George, the Bahama Bullet. Elrich George from the capital city of Nassau. In the Bahamas. The first Caribbean driver in the series. Yeah, Belleville sitting in the 10th spot. He's in the midst of a battle here. As we see a battle for the race lead, Elrich George is taking the lead away. He is on a mission tonight. It's hard to pivot away from this lead battle. There's so much battling going on throughout the race here. Up and down throughout the top 15. Brendan Roberts back down pit lane, and then 58. Reynolds led that lap. Pinnell about to go another lap down. He's already one down. He's going to go two down here. Here's a good look a little bit further back. A lot of cars in this battle. Withers in the 6. Smeal in the 44. Belleville, the white 41. Yeah, Lansing still putting his nose in it. He's 4 laps down, but he's got to fight for something here. Now he's been playing a little bit of the game of instigation. See if he can cause trouble without being in it so he can pick off spots. A lot of drivers have used their fast repair. But Belleville sits in 6th at the moment, using that outside line to great effect over John Smeal in the 44. So now Belleville gets to chase down Tom Sears. What we're going to try to do here, we're going to try to do a crank it up here, seeing as how we got thwarted last time. We're doing a crank it up. We're actually going to focus on the man of the night, Elrich George, putting in a star performance tonight in the number 40 machine. So we're going to go on board with him and we're going to crank it up. as you saw through our crank it up, Tom Sears managed to go all the way up to the top of the board, leading this race at a Tommy Reynolds here. Noah Belleville has made himself up to third place in the 41. So it's Team Outlaw, the Team Sideswipe, and Prophecy Racing top three. They are working on, I believe that is Bryn Roberts. It is 58 of Bryn Roberts between the race leaders at the moment. Right now, Tom Sears looking for his second win of the season, same as Reynolds. Belleville looking to play ultimate spoiler. But he's got some work to do. He's 2 seconds behind the race leader as we approach lap 97 of 134. You're here from up above. Aerial cam provided by the Goodyear blimp. As we get a good look at the full Kansas Speedway 1.5 mile oval. Again, Tom Sears leading over Tommy Reynolds, and you have Noah Belleville and this gaggle of cars. Josh Gaiman in this group, same with Donald Ray, Jeremy Breo, Jacob Blankenship. Jason Alexander, Elrich George has dropped to 9th. I think his tires have begun to fall off. So we may see green flag pit stops here sooner rather than later. As you see here. Starting lap 99. 36 laps to go. Dustin Banner provided a little bit of commentary on Elrich George's performance tonight. Taking a little bit of time, but George has begun to find his groove. He has the least amount of time of experience in the Group I and I racing, but he's pretty successful in ARCs based on his NASCAR heat performances. Yeah, it's been very interesting seeing his progression throughout the season, because he's not a full-time guy this season either. Making that leap from console to iRacing is a big challenge. So he's definitely had to undergo what a lot of drivers have had to go through, and the learning process is different for everybody. And he's not had the track time that some people have had to really get up to speed quickly. But you can tell that the progress, the passion, and the work has been there for Elrich George. Yeah, he's sitting in 10th right now at the moment. But again, I think pit stops are incoming, so he could easily put himself back into the limelight here. I think he definitely has one of the best short-run cars based off of what we're seeing so far, where if a late caution does come out, and it's very well possible that it could, we could see something really interesting from that 40 machine before this race is over. And keep an eye on Belleville as he begins to drop backwards, it seems. He's been passed by Gaiman, he's been passed by Donald Ray, who spent all of the first stage of this race 2 laps down. Now not only is he back on the lead lap, but now he's in the top 5 challenging for another podium here, while his teammate Tom Sears leads. Both of them pretty successful at the moment. Belleville's back to the bottom here. He's giving Blankenship the outside lane, and pit stops have begun. There's Belleville, first to blink. Surprising that Belleville's the first to blink and not Elrich George. I would have assumed that he might have been the first. John Spiel also coming in. So pit stops have begun among those that could easily start contending to be in the top 5 or better. Again, Belleville pit from 6th on track. So we'll see if anyone like Sears or Reynolds or Gaiman tries to cover that off. Donald Ray comes in. So does Josh Gaiman. Riley Wright will also come in, as will Jeremy Breo. So pit stops in earnest have begun for most of the leaders. Tom Sears thinking that he can stay out longer, and he proved us all right in that regard. He proved everyone else wrong. But strategy-wise, he pulled a mastercraft strategy game in Darlington last week. He is the tire whisperer. He's the fuel whisperer of the field, at least as of late. So right now he has done a really good job. Reynolds again holding on to him here. Then Jason Alexander trying to stay on his schedule. Same with Elrich George. So it's an interesting play here. Jonathan Homebrink officially out of the race. Same with Alex Shimkowski. 21 cars still running. Ryan Pinnell, the last car running here. He is, I believe, 5 laps down. No, 4 laps down, excuse me. But he is underpowered. He's got damage to that number 12. Less than 30 laps to go here at Kansas. The second race of the round of 16. Reynolds comes in. So the top 3 provisionally. Sears, Alexander, and George. Car behind him, I believe, is... I believe that's Bryn Roberts behind him. So he's not a competitor. At least not for position. Roberts only sitting 4 laps down. We'll have to double check. Make sure that that is Roberts here. And it is. Not the race that he wanted, but he's not alone in that position. Seth Wanzing and Ryan Pinnell also down there 4 laps down. Catania 2 down. So it is what you want to make of it. 4 cars on the lead lap yet to pit. Sears, Alexander, George, and Patrick Allen. And Sears comes in now. Alexander follows, and Elrich George stays out. Elrich George will stay out here. So that's an interesting strategy call for Elrich George. He's hanging on to the draft of Seth Wanzing here. So we'll see what this looks like when he does eventually come down pit lane. Ryan Pinnell letting him go by. And George will come in here. So will Wanzing and Patrick and Ryan Pinnell. There's Patrick Allen. Patrick Allen stays out. Will actually lead a lap. So Patrick Allen has a bonus point for leading a lap. Way to go him. Collecting that bonus point here. He last pit on lap 72 at the beginning of stage 3. So we know he has to come in. I believe he's coming in this lap. So he's got his bonus point. Now he's okay with kind of coming back down pit lane. Interestingly enough, keep an eye on it. Noah Belleville, first one to pit. He will inherit the race lead over Josh Gaiman and Donald Ray. So, here we go. .25 to go, and Belleville's in a really good spot. It's Gaiman, Ray, and Blankenship, and again, times they can shift in a second. It's 1.1. You see, there's Gaiman peeking through our display there from the far right. But right now, Gaiman trying to reel him in. Same with Donald Ray, trying to make this 3-horse race for the win. For Gaiman and Ray, a win locks them into the round of 12. For Belleville, it's a monkey off his back and stress off the shoulders. 4 runner-up finishes here this season. He's been so close so many times. He won last night in the Saturday Night Showdown event. Can he sweep the weekend in ARCS? 23 to go. And now, second and third beginning the battle. Donald Ray up to second. He may try to charge after Belleville. The gap has come down to 0.87. 8 tenths and change between Belleville and Donald Ray. The race is on. Believe they've got draft for Belleville. So they're going to start closing the gap more and more and more as the laps count down. 22 to go in Kansas. It's Belleville trying to pull off the upset. Ray Gaiman in line to try to take that away. Reynolds, one of those that got jumped, I think, the hardest here from second to fourth, and not in contention at all at the moment. Still sitting 2 seconds behind the race leader. Blankenship further back. Tom Sears, the biggest loser, overstayed on that set of tires and lost 7 seconds for his trouble. He is down in 8th place behind Bradley Wright. Tommy Withers in 9th. Jason Alexander in 10th. Elrich George stayed out super long as well. He dropped out of the top 10 completely. Patrick Allen 2 laps down now, but he did lead a lap, so I guess for him that's a small little victory. But these two are chasing down our race leader. 20 laps to go. Tire wear should be pretty well similar between these three. They've only got 1 lap difference between them, and they all pit earlier in that stop compared to the likes of Reynolds, who pit on lap 105. So the nuance differences do mean a lot. It's just a matter of you got 2 cars between Ray and Gaiman, and then you have Belleville all on his own. They were gonna catch up to him, but now it's gonna be a bit of a slughouse on how everyone battles this one out with 19 to go. Elbows are out, gloves are off. 3 very talented drivers battling for the race win here, and Reynolds lurking. He could easily become a factor in this as well before this is all said and done. In fact, he probably will become a factor. Now that these 3 are together, they're going to start hurting each other up as they battle, so Reynolds definitely going to be in the mix. Again, you look at it, everyone in the top 10 in the silver and black are in the playoffs. Of those in the top 10, Belleville, Wright, Withers, and Alexander have yet to win a race this season. Wright locked himself in on points, as did Withers. Alexander was outside that line in the 53. $17 to go. Again, still Belleville, Ray, Gaiman, Reynolds, Blankenship top 5. Breo in 6th. Then you have Sears, Wright, Withers, and Alexander in the top 10. Estes 11th, Elrich George in 10th, John Smeal 13th, 14th Kerr, 15th Andrews, and Kevin Feams for the first car off the lead lap in the 16th position, 1 lap down. The laps tick down. It's a 4-car fight now. Reynolds has joined the queue. Blankenship wants part of the action as well. He's been closing in on this. That gap's come down from 3.5 to 2.9. And it'll continue to fall. He's got time to make it happen, especially if these 4 have a hiccup. Belleville in the 41, Ray in the 5. Ray to the bottom, wants the race lead. Reynolds in that silver number 7, and Gaiman in that blue and yellow, that Ukraine number 61. $15 to go. Belleville holding off the assault for now. Reynolds has the freshest tires by 3 laps over Belleville. How much does that matter? Right now, Belleville's had the cleanest air the longest. That plays his advantage. It's a chess match. But it might become speed chess here in a second. Reynolds sits in the battle for second place with Reynolds. Or with Ray, excuse me. Gaiman in 4th. Blankenship is closing, 2.3. He's gained 7/10. Even more. The more that those 3 battle in side draft, the further away Belleville's going to get. It's back up to 4/10. And Ray was just 2 laps ago side by side with Belleville. If you're fans of the 41 and what he's been able to accomplish, you're loving this. Because they are going to, it's elbows out, but it's elbows out for everybody right now, and that is including the battle for second place. But it's letting the race leader get back away here. Blankenship firmly on the charge. 2 seconds now between him and the race leader. He could become a present factor in how this podium looks. And we still have to deal with lap traffic. Game with Colton says, I hope Kerr wins, but he's in 14th. Yeah, he's kind of just happy he survived on the lead lap so far. But it's not over yet. Again, Belleville holding on to it by 4/10 over Gaiman, Ray, and Reynolds. Reynolds has dropped back down to 4th. And Blankenship is charging. That 85 has been the fastest car on track the last 4 laps. He is booking it. And I believe he's in draft range of Reynolds. He's got the draft now. It's a 5-car fight. 11 to go. It's a 5-car fight for the win of this race. Hold on to your seats, because this could be a classic finish. Been a little bit of everything tonight here in Kansas. Gaiman's closed the gap again. It's less than 2/10. Gaiman wants a chance at the race lead. He's going to try to get a run out of turn 4. Belleville's going to mirror drive here a little bit. Ten to go. Blaggett just got dispatched Reynolds. 85 is up to 4th. Donald Ray sitting in 3rd. Really good battle at the top. Ray took the bottom lane. You saw that a little bit at the corner of your screen. Nine to go. Blankenship to the outside of Ray. P3 for Blankenship. He's on the charge, but he's not clear. Ray holds on to the bottom. A little bit of latency there for Blankenship as Ray tries to hold on to P3. He'll slot in behind. He's lost that position temporarily. We'll see if he can get it back. Blankenship wants another win. He wants to lock himself into that round of 12. So does Josh Gaiman. Belleville, side by side. It checked up. Belleville enough. Blankenship led at the line. New race leader Jacob Blankenship. He clears Belleville for the race lead. Belleville's not going to let it sit hanging down. He's going to hang on out of 2. Gaiman's hiccup inadvertently just let Blankenship walk away with the lead of this race. Belleville's trying to do what he can to fight it back. Blankenship beat to the line at Richmond back in April. Is he going to do it here at Kansas? Seven to go. There's a lap traffic car on the inside lane coming up. And that's the 40 at Catania. Outside lanes where you want to be right now. Blankenship's got it and he's pulling away. 4/10 is the gap. 6 laps to go. Blankenship has turned on the Jets. Belleville's hanging on to him, still trying to hang on there. And both of them have dispatched Gaiman, Reynolds, and Ray. But Belleville's going to give it the best shot he's got here. Coming to 5 laps to go. That's all he can do. 5 laps to go. Belleville's doing everything he can to hold on to it. He's not tight, he's not loose, but he's not closing. Belleville closing in just a little bit on the entry to 1 and 2, but then he loses it. I think he overdrove it a little bit through 1 and 2. 4 to go. He's still within a reasonable range But he needs to be perfect here, and he needs to hope the Blankenship has a little bit of a hiccup. Blankenship just pulling away, slowly but surely. 3 laps to go. There's a car in the wall, I believe. And that's Reynolds. Oh, it's Reynolds. He's backwards. Caution's out. Caution's out. Reynolds is backwards. Caution is out. And we have reset. Was Catania a part of it? I don't feel like he was, but this changes everything. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a green-white checker finish coming. How about that? Here's what happened to Reynolds, and it is Catania. That's an odd crash. We'll take another look at it. We'll have to go back a little bit here. So Catania is largely minding his business here. Reynolds is battling with Donald Ray. Joshua Game has dispatched him here. It's hard to tell from that angle whether or not Reynolds moved up more or if Catania moved down. We'll chopper cam this. A little slow motion between this here. I think Catania moved down a little bit more than Reynolds moved up, but both wanted the same real estate. You can see that Reynolds just went for a ride, and Catania kind of just stuck to the wall there. So, that changes a lot. And as you can imagine, everyone came down pit lane except for Reynolds. Reynolds, I think, is coming down pit lane here. Yeah. Reynolds coming down pit lane here. As a damaged car, he's got nothing to stand on here. Now, there's good and there's bad in this. Good news, everyone's got fresh tires. Bad news, we've got 2 laps to figure it out. We got 3 with my checkers. We may use them. This will be the first one. But we're about to have a bit of chaos. Yeah, Josh Galen, who felt really robbed at Darlington last week. He's going to be completely all out tonight. Noah Belleville, a race win is in his grasp. It is literally right there for him. It is going to be very, very touch and go here. Jason Alexander looking for his first win of the season. You got Donald Ray looking to get back to the win column. Tom Sears looking for his second win of the season. Jeremy Brea looking for his 7th. Estes looking for his 3rd. Bradley Wright looking for his first of the year. Irish George back in the top 10. He's still a persistent threat. That's Roberts and Pinnell getting their laps back here. Or one of them back. Both of them were 4 laps down. Pinnell's actually 18 laps down now after having to do more repairs. Roberts is 5 laps down. This is going to be intense. Gaiman chose the outside line, so did Blankenship. Belleville chose the bottom. So it's Blankenship, Belleville, Alexander, Gaiman, Ray, and Sears top 6. Breo, Estes top 8. Wright and Andrews top 10. The chaos is about to be real here at Kansas. So, race fans, place your bets. Mustang pace car pulls in, hopefully for the last time. Approaching the restart zone. Green flag back in the air, and away we go. First overtime attempt is green. And Blankenship had a really good run. Belleville chased Gaiman up the track. That's Alexander with a little bit of squirreliness. Alexander to second place. Can they make it to the white flag? Gaiman got a little bit of a tag. Belleville's going to drop backwards. Blankenship leads us to the white flag. 1 lap to go here in Kansas. It's Blankenship, Alexander, and Gaiman out of turn 2. Can anyone do anything about it? When it mattered the most, Blankenship was there. Through 3 and 4 for the final time. Coming out of the final quarter for the final time, Jacob Blankenship is in the round of 12. He wins at Kansas. And they wreck big time across the line. Blankenship, Alexander, Gaiman are podium finishers. Belleville 4th. Donald Ray 5th. Edwards George made it up to 6th. Then Breo, Estes, Sears, and Smeal top 10. Jacob Blankenship, your race winner here at Kansas. He's 4th on the season, the regular season champion. Showing why he is such, with another brilliant late race display. There's his teammate Bryn Roberts, watching him burn it down. Really good effort by that team tonight. Really good performance by Blankenship. Almost flawless performance. Phenomenal job. Again, Jacob Blankenship, your race winner. Yeah, Bryn Roberts, his teammate, who's been working with him so much these past few weeks. They finished both on the podium at Daytona. They were both in contention at Darlington. And obviously, Blankenship and Roberts' team chemistry has worked out. It's paid off between Indy Arcs. It's paid off between that and here in A squared. Teamwork makes the dream work, and they're proof of it right now. Blankenship in the round of 12 makes Bristol a lot less stressful for the 85 crew. Phenomenal work. And see, the lights are on, the sun is completely set here in Kansas. Here's a look at the results. It's Jacob Blankenship for 1MA Racing, our race winner tonight. Jason Alexander in second place. Then you have Josh Gaiman in third. Noah Belleville, again, close, but not close enough. Fourth place for him. tonight here in Kansas. Donald Ray, top 5 for him, keeping that good run going. Elrich George, best finish of the season for him. 6th place for the 40 machine. Bahama Bullet showing flashes of brilliance tonight. Safe to say that Elrich George may be on the cusp of arriving to victory lane at some point within the next 8 weeks. Jeremy Breo sits in 7th place at the finish line here. Was a contender in each of the stages. Just couldn't close it out here. 7th place for him. Toby Estes in 8th place ahead of Tom Sears and John Smeal. Another top 10 for him in the number 44 machine. Helps him out significantly in the point standings. Try to get into the round of 12 by a points in. Thomas Andrews in 11th. Bradley Wright 12th. James Kerr 13th. Ahead of Kevin Feebster, who got in the lead lap on that last caution and made up a couple positions for his trouble. Tommy Reynolds 15th. We saw him take a wild ride across the start finish line, and he'll end up with a 15th place finish for his trouble for Team Sideswipe there. Patrick Allen, the first car off the lead lap, 4 laps down for the 45 crew. Seth Wansing never got his laps back after the start, so he'll finish 17th. He'll be credited for that tonight. Bren Roberts, trouble found him at every possible opportunity. He was credited with 18th place here this evening. And as you look further on down the order, Catania, Withers, Pinnell, Homebrink, and Jimkowski, those that were also affected by accidents during this race. Jimkowski, the first retirement of this race here in 23rd. Whew. That was a wild one. That was a pretty entertaining race. That had a little bit of everything to it.
You live, bud?
Yep.
Give me 30 seconds and I'll get your interviews in here.
Gotcha.
All right, 10-4.
All right, that was Ryan Pinnell checking in. Yeah, obviously Jacob Blankenship, our race winner. I don't think we're going to hear from him. We typically don't get interviews from him. But we'll see if we can hear from Gaiman and Alexander, our 3rd and 2nd place finishers here tonight. So we'll figure that out. A lot to digest there, but I personally think it was a fantastic race. Obviously, it was chaotic at points. Obviously, the run to the end of stage 2. And then obviously that last restart there was all chaos, but I thought it was pretty, I thought it was a very entertaining race. Answering a question in chat, wish I could figure out how to watch on my big screen. If you have the YouTube app on your smart TV, if it's a smart TV, you can get the YouTube app and you can pull up our channel on there that way. That's the easiest way, and it's free to do. But if you have a smart TV, that is the way I would recommend. Saturday Night Showdown, which is broadcasted by repeat, is available on Roku TV via the Sim Racing channel. But this series is only available via our YouTube and Twitch channels, which are also available through your smart TV. So for those that tuned in, we appreciate it, but that is the easiest way to do that. So we're going to see if we can figure out who all we get to talk to tonight. Just about everyone went to a post-race meeting. So we'll see what's going on here. Obviously, we don't want to intrude. So we'll give him a couple minutes here. Again, phenomenal results here. We'll pull the results back up. Jacob Blankenship, again, 4th race win of the season. I thought it was a phenomenal race for him. Jason Alexander, 2nd place. Josh Gaiman in 3rd. Again, a really good rebound for Gaiman, given what happened at Darlington 1 week ago. But still really close, and he needed that race win just to make sure that he was pressure-free going into Bristol. Thunder Valley is going to be a madhouse next week. It always is. It's short track racing to a dot. It's quintessential short track racing in the concrete bull ring in Tennessee. So we're going to double check here. I believe it might be an emergency reading because everyone in the race tonight is in that meeting. So I I'm going to assume that something serious has gone down. I'm assuming if anything serious has gone down, we'll let you know next week. But yeah, we've got a pretty serious conversation going on right now in the driver's hauler at the moment. So don't believe we're going to get interviews tonight. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up coverage here. Again, congrats to Jacob Blankenship, race winner for the 4th time this season, our regular season champion, showing why he is our regular season champion and why he should be a favorite for everyone into the round of 4. Jason Alexander, congrats to him on a podium finish. I believe that's the 2nd of the season. So well done for him, a competitive force all the way around. Josh Gaiman, Noah Belleville, Donald Ray, Elrich George, Jeremy Brayo, Toby Estes, Tom Sears, John Smeal, our top 10 from Kansas. Next time out, it's Bristol, Thunder Valley in 7 days' time. We hope you join us for it then. Until then, on behalf of ARX Racing Networks for the Darkside Mustangs A-Square Cup Series, Windy Chevrolet, and Midwest Barbecue, I'm Clayton Hardy. Thank you all for tuning in and spending your Sunday evening with us. We'll see you next week at Bristol.